Hi, this is John Browning from Guardian Rock Wealth. And as we head into 2021, I thought it was interesting to look back 100 years. So think about 1920. World War I just ended. Congress rejected the League of Nations. The 18th and 19th constitutional amendments were passed. The beginning of prohibition and women's suffrage had begun. We had deadly tornadoes throughout the Midwest, and we even had a terrorist attack on Wall Street where someone drove a horse and buggy and exploded it, killing 38 people and wounding 400. Interestingly enough, we were also just coming off of the Spanish flu worldwide pandemic that infected over 500 million people. And we had a new invention, brand new, the Westinghouse radio. It was available in stores for $10. Now, $10 back then was quite a bit more than, say, $10 now, which doesn't even buy you lunch in some places. The average salary in 2020 was just $400 per year. So $10 was a lot of money back then. This is a brand new invention. And the first live radio broadcast actually went out in November 2nd, and it announced the election results. The Model T, brand new invention just then, available to the general public, and that was for $1,000, so a little over twice the annual salary, average annual salary. 1921, you have millions of men returning from the war with very little support and very few jobs, and this actually ended up resulting in an unprecedented economic upheaval. Unemployment soared. And unfortunately, right at the same time, inflation also soared. And this caused a sharp recession, and the hunt for scarce jobs caused deep racial divides, a lot of labor unrest. And adding to that fire was this deep, deep fear of what we had just fought for, and that was anarchy, because there were a lot of voices saying, hey, we can save you from this unemployment, but it would mean the end of democracy as we know it. And of course, adding to that, an exacerbating problem was the newspapers. And even back then, same as now, the idea was to report as much negative news as possible because negative news tends to sell. Eventually, you had riots. You had the riots in Boston that were some of the worst the nation has ever seen. At this same time, you had more innovation. You had Albert Einstein, who later ended up winning the Nobel Peace Prize for his work as he made advances in physics that preceded a lot of new innovations. And you had some major medical advances happen as well, such as the discovery of how to isolate insulin to treat diabetes. And that happened up in Canada. I'm sure I was very interested when I did this quick little bit of research of some of the parallels that we see 100 years later. It's somewhat uncanny. If nothing else, we can tell from this brief history that while not exactly the same, we have had similar times in our history even back 100 years ago. And the good news is we have the benefit of looking back to see some of the things that happened as a result of some of those innovations and some of those political issues that influence the way we see and do and think about things today. Because we're seeing some of the, first of all, we have a pandemic. Who would have thought, right? We have a pandemic that we're dealing with worldwide. And in addition to that, we have a lot of new innovations. Certainly, we've come from the Model T to something akin to Tesla. And now we're talking about many other advances in technology and electric vehicles and self-driving cars and artificial intelligence and genomics on the healthcare side of things. Some of it's sped up by the need for it because of the global pandemic. But I just thought it was interesting, thought I would share that with you today and let you know that what we're experiencing now is not completely unique in the history. And with all of the new innovations, what this led to back 100 years ago was eventually was the Roaring Twenties, which was a fantastic time for investing and really in the history of our nation. So possibly we'll have another Roaring Twenties, but this is not investment advice, of course. I'm not suggesting that anybody rush into anything like that. In order to give you a personalized investing advice, we need to have a chat one-on-one, and I'd love to do that. You can reach out to me here on one of the social media platforms, or of course, go to our website, guardianrockwealth.com, and hit the contact us button. And I would love to speak with you about your personal situation and how to position yourself to profit in the coming years and how to develop a plan that builds your life, not just your portfolio. I hope to chat with you soon, and I hope everyone has a great day.